What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great week. I want to start off by apologizing for not having the initial injury report out yesterday. As you know, those of you that tune in had my uncle's funeral yesterday, and unfortunate, one of the biggest Eagles fans I've ever known, definitely diehard, took me to my first ever Eagles game. Love the man. But yesterday, as horrible as it was a great time. Got to see family. So I appreciate you all bearing with me and understanding. And I appreciate all the love and the support you guys have been giving in this time. So thank you for that. Just want to say, Smith's rule, go Birds. But let's start this bad boy off. And I appreciate all of you. You know, you guys are family to me too. And as I told you, I'd have the injury report updated. So we got today's as well. We'll talk about what yesterday was, all that stuff you need to know, and all the rest that you need to know heading into this wild card round matchup between the Eagles and the 49ers. And I'm quite excited. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm ready to run through a wall. This team has got me pretty pumped up. This 49ers team is no pushover, though. So let's get to know both teams, and let's look at those top matchups. Love to hear your thoughts throughout, though. Any questions, comments that you have, leave them down below. But let's start this off with the injury reports for both teams. And well, we'll start it off with the Eagles, and a few names on here. And we knew Calcaterra with that hip drop tackle and Brett Toth. They started the week not practicing. That was yesterday. And then you see a few guys limited. Ojulari had his 21-day window activated, so he's practicing in full. Not sure he comes off of the list, but at least you have a guy there at practice for the next few weeks. But down at the bottom, you see Landon Dickerson today was added. Did not practice because of rest. But Phillips and Ojulari on the edge, full participants. You can see Nakobe Dean and Marcus Epps moved into full participant. Let's go. That's all I can say there. Limited, Carter, Goddard, Johnson. I understand that. Calcaterra moved up to limited. As I told you, I'd rather have Latu playing anyway, but best of luck to him either way. Toth still not practicing with that concussion, but that's what's going on with the Eagles, and I will let you know. But having Lane Johnson, Marcus Epps, Nakobe Dean coming back, Goddard and Carter, and oh, hell yeah. I'm telling you, man, sleeping on the wrong ones. Everybody's going to be telling me all the things they never said last year when we're talking next year, and I can't wait. But first, we got to go through these Niners. And, well, they've got quite the amount of injuries. And if you saw behind enemy lines, where we talked about the Niners the other day, I showed you their IR. I'll show you again here in a minute. But they've got a lot of guys that were banged up here anyway. But full participant today, McCaffrey, he was just resting yesterday. Pearsall, Keon White, and D. Winters not practicing. So not great there. Trent Williams moved into limited territory. So that's great news for them to get their left tackle back. You see a few other guys were limited. George Kittle was limited the last couple of days. I'm sure he'll play. Gifford went from limited to not practicing, so that's not great. Already down a bunch of linebackers. We talked about them signing Kaiser White. So, oh boy, we'll see what happens there. Jai Ayer Brown. Jacob Cowing had his 21-day window opened, and then Kalia Davis there. So, bunch of injuries for both teams. But you know, I always show you both teams' depth charts, so you know what they look like, who the depth is, if somebody's out, who the backups, all that great stuff. Let's take a look at the Eagles first. Looking at their IR, Ojulari, as mentioned, had his 21-day window open, so he's designated to return. We'll see if he actually does in the next few weeks. Probably not, because we won't even use him. We don't even use Uche. So, yeah, but here's the IR, practice squad IR. Brandon Johnson was added. See the guys that retired. So you will not see these guys on the depth chart, but looking at the offense, ready to rock and roll with Lane Johnson back. We talked about how different this offense is going to be, and looking forward to talking about that one during the matchups. But defensive side of the ball here, Jalen Carter getting healthy, Nakobe Dean being back. Oh, hell yes. Cannot wait to see this defense in action going up against a really high-powered 49ers offense. Now, special teams, I went ahead and made one of their elevations for them, because that's going to be one of their elevations. Charlie Hewlett, the long snapper, obviously Howie working his magic, so he's not on the active roster, but he's still going to play throughout the playoffs because they just need to elevate him. Tricky little son of a. Now, the practice squad here, if they want to elevate anyone else other than Charlie Hewlett, you see the options on offense and the options on defense there. But going, I think I messed this up. There was actually Perry Nickerson. What the hell? I have the right one. I guess I saved the wrong one. My apologies. But Brandon Johnson, as you saw, is on practice squad IR. Perry Nickerson, the one I showed you yesterday, I think was right, hopefully. But Perry Nickerson is back on the practice squad, not Brandon Johnson. Anyways, you can see the IR here for the Niners, and they have Jacob Cowing. As I mentioned, 21-day window opened. You see the rest of the guys here. Tatum Bethune just added to the IR. So now down Fred Warner and Bethune, Nick Martin, the rookie, as well. A bunch of injuries there for these guys. Let's take a look on the offense here. And as I mentioned, Trent Williams back at practice today, so great news for them. Austin Pleasance is nowhere near Trent Williams. That would be bad news for them. But Pearsall, not looking good for him. If he does not play, well, Kendrick Bourne will have to step in again. So Juwan Jennings is, the number one guy for Purdy there. Demarcus Robinson's got talent. They still have Kittle, and obviously McCaffrey can get you anywhere on the ground, in the air, and they have Juszczyk as well. So they've got weapons, regardless of what happens here, but I'll keep you up to date tomorrow. Is the game status report? Who's out, who's questionable? I'll let you know. But on the defensive side of the ball for these guys, we talked about all of the linebacker injuries, and if D. Winters can't go, Gifford's banged up, well, it might be Wallow and Kendricks, and they might have to elevate their newly signed practice squad linebacker, Kaiser White. So, bunch going on there. Keon White banged up. Unfortunate. That dude, he can play inside, outside. He's been getting reps since he got traded to the Niners. That's a great addition for them. Bryce Huff there, we know. And Eric Kendricks, Old Man River, was just added to the active roster. He was elevated last week. A lot going on here. A couple of rookies here in the secondary, Green and Stout. And then you got Lenore there. Mustafa and Brown, I like the safety combo, but this is a defense we can beat up on. And the special teams, all new additions here. Kicker, punter, long snapper, and the return man, Sky Moore, who was traded for earlier in the season. So everybody's healthy, though, and good to go. See what that looks like. And then, of course, their practice squad, they want to elevate anyone. I will let you know that information on Saturday when both teams decide who they are elevating for this game. But that's what both teams look like here. And I think I just clicked the wrong thing, you son of a... Let me come back here for real quick. All right. Think we're good to go. Now, you see what both teams look like. Well, the players at least. Let's take a look at the coaching staffs and how they've had their teams doing in the regular season, 2025 here. And you can see, look, we still got cap space. We still got all this stuff for next year. Everybody freaking out about whatever. Look, let's focus on right now. Well, I want this guy as OC. Right now, it's Kevin Padula, man. We just got to hope that this offense, everybody gets on the same page. We go on this run. We talk about opening up this playbook. Lane Johnson being back just makes things so much different, and people are going to rue the day they slept on these Eagles, and Vic Fangio is going to bring his defense, and let's go smash him in the dirt. We know our leader, Nick Sirianni, will always have the guys ready. And look, if you're a stat watcher, it's not been a pretty season. On the defense, they've definitely improved, and, on offense, not turning the ball over too much, not giving up too many sacks anymore, but really, we know there's issues that need to be cleaned up, but when they are, this team can beat anyone. That's why I'm so confident throughout these playoffs. We can go steamroll anyone. This team still ended up being 11-6, atop their division, first back-to-back winner in 21 years. Let's go, man. Let's get excited. This Eagles team, either way, there's only a month and a half left of football, whatever, man. Not even a month. Let's go. It's Eagles football time. We know our team's going to go out, punch some people in the mouth. Let's go do that, man. Let's get confident in our team. And look, I understand this is a tough matchup going up against Kyle Shanahan and his Niners. Clay Kubiak, yes, that is Gary's son. I am old as hell. They've got a lot of cap space. So they really, didn't change too much when you looked at their depth chart. A lot of depth pieces, added some pieces on defense that helped. But Robert Saleh was brought back. That's the huge one for them on defense. Head coaching the Jets there for a few years, came back, and he'll probably get another opportunity here before too long. But, he's still a very good defensive mind. And, I'll be intrigued to see what he brings against the Eagles. Remember last time we played them in 2023, they whooped our ass. Yeah, we beat them in the NFC Championship game, but they came back the next year and throttled us. So both games are at home. Let's go win this third one. I'm all about it, man. And this is a high-powered offense, and their defense isn't horrible. I'm not saying, but they're just not one of the top defense that I'm used to seeing here. Not getting many turnovers. lowest in the league in sacks. I think they only had 20. That's 1.2 per game. You can see, struggling against the pass, as I had mentioned, decent against the run, though. So this offense doesn't need to be questioned. We know they're pretty good, and Kyle Shanahan is one of the brightest minds. But if you ask someone like him, he's going to tell you his most hated defense is Vic Fangio. So let's go. Now, the Niners were 12-5, and that's great, but third in their division. That's crazy. Seahawks, the Rams, just like the NFC East last year, quite a tight race there at the end. But, Niners, obviously, still good enough to get in the playoffs. That's what matters. And, hey, as much as people complain about the Eagles, we're sitting there at number 3. Niners are at number 6, and numbers don't mean shit. Look, yeah, you get home field advantage, and that's whatever. But you just got to do your thing no matter where you are. And, dude, they're coming to our house. So let's go punch them right in the face. And let's get this W, because the Eagles, they're the better team here. And the Niners are banged up, man. So let's get excited. And obviously, with both teams being good enough for that, and we know the lowest seeded team after these matchups are played will take on the Seahawks. So we'll see if the Eagles can move on. They might have another home game. So a lot of people, complaining about not getting the 2. We might not even need to worry about that. So quit whining. Let's get going here, because we could beat any of these teams in the NFC. And, well, just in case you missed her, here's the AFC as well real quick. We know the Broncos at the 1 seed, with the Pats versus the Chargers, Jags versus the Bills, and the Steelers versus Texans, if you're wondering how to map out your weekend. Now, those are the games. I cannot freaking wait. I cannot believe. Tomorrow I'm gonna try to get a Fan Friday in. I'm looking forward to that one, but we'll still have the game stats report. Saturday, you'll get your practice squad elevations. Sunday, pregame. Probably going to be a little earlier in the day, going over to spend time with my cousins, and we're doing this, game getting together for my uncle. It's going to be cool. I'm really excited about it, going over and going to spend a lot of time with family. And then after I'm done and whatever we're doing, once I get home, we'll do the post-game show. So we're going to get ready. We're going to keep it. We'll be here for Victory Monday then, and then we'll keep doing our thing throughout the playoffs. But let's start these top matchups off, and I'd love to hear from you, hear what's on your mind. I got at number 10 here, and try not to get too caught up with the numbers here. I like to start off with either the offense or defense. Got to just go from there. And I love to start in the trenches. So that's where we're at. And we talk about this edge rush and how much we've been able to do since adding, Jalen Phillips. And getting Jalen Carter back, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, BG. Uche hasn't even been playing. But, you've got talent. And we talk about Jordan Davis, Morwa Jomo. Holy hell, this is the best line. When these guys are healthy, they are going to grow into the best line. I promise you. Next year, we're going to be nuts, and we can add to it. So I'm excited about this. And, you go up against a team that we talked about it, not giving them too many sacks there or anything, but it's a beatable line. Trent Williams, if he's back, that's a much different ball game. And I really like Puny. We talked about Dominic Puny, you remember, a couple of years ago before the draft. I'm a fan of him. And this is definitely going to be a tough test for the Eagles, but get this pass rush going. We need to, and it's not that we haven't seen it, the second half of the year, especially ever since Phillips came. So Jalen Phillips, go get you some, son. Now up next at number 9, let's talk about these receivers. I told you I'm not too afraid, so I'm not going to put them too high. But Juwan Jennings, he can go off, and Robinson or Bourne, Pearsall's not playing, whoever it is. But Adoree Jackson's actually been playing pretty well. I've explained that over and over, and I think people are starting to see it. And now they see it because Bennett and Kaylee Ringo were atrocious last week. So let's be gracious that Adoree Jackson has played well. But Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, 2 of the best in the game already. Lock them up, man. Shut them down. And, I think more importantly, you're going to have a tight end here that we've actually done pretty well against tight ends. So the corners, the linebackers, the safeties, everybody's going to need to step it up here. And, Blankenship being back, it's awesome. But Epps, looking like he's coming off that concussion protocol, let's go. I'm ready. We need him. Do not want Sidney Brown back there. Brandon Johnson's on IR, so you would have to bring up, Perry Nickerson, which I don't mind, but not what I'm trying to do here. So let's shut these guys down. And they do use Farrell that sparingly. They don't use too much 12 personnel. Honestly, they're more of a 21, 2 backs, and then 1 tight end. And, that could be a fullback, which we'll talk about, right? Coming up next. Well, after this next one. But, Yeah, so Farrell and Tongas, they have there as well. You'll see them sparingly, but I wanted to mention him just because of the fact that George Kittle sometimes, can get banged up, and he's banged up now. But Kittle's one of the best. Got to shut him down. Don't care if we've been good against other tight ends. He's George Kittle. So bring your A game. Let's shut him down. Blankenship's been balling this year. Let's continue doing that. Now, we got Brock Purdy up here at number 7 because obviously he's number 1 for their offense is coming here. But Brock Purdy is a decent quarterback. I don't think he's as great as everyone makes him to be, but 69.4 completion percentage this year, 2,167 yards, averaging 240 yards per game, 20 touchdowns. He does have 10 interceptions, been sacked 11 times. I think this is a kid, Mr. Irrelevant, a great story, but 49ers annoy the living hell out of me. And the talk about him being better than Jalen Hurts was always laughable, truly laughable. But he is a good quarterback, so I don't want to take away from it. But this Eagles defense, we've been able to shut down some of the best quarterbacks. And we talk about that's what Vic Fangio's defense is built to do. And whether it's Purdy or Mac Jones or whoever they throw in there, I think this Eagles defense, we've got the formula. We just got to put everything, execute, do our thing, and we could shut them down. But the key here is shutting this offense down, somehow trying to take away Christian McCaffrey, which you're not going to take him away, but you got to somewhat contain him. And they do use their fullback use check. And Brian Robinson will see a few snaps, and we remember him from the Commander days, but we got Bond. We got Dean back, and if we need, Jihad Campbell is right there, so let's effing go. But 1,200 yards rushing for Christian McCaffrey, 924 receiving. He's got 7 receiving touchdowns, 10 rushing. This dude's still doing it, man. And my God, we have seen this team struggle at times against the run, even when, the defense is playing well. That Bears game, I just unacceptable. McCaffrey's only averaging 3.9 yards per carry, but Robinson's averaging 4.3. They can run the ball, man, and don't let that happen. With McCaffrey being their leading receiver on the team this season, and he's played only 2 more games than Jennings, but he's got 300 more yards than him. That's insane, dude. But they will get him the ball one way or another, and if not him, Jennings and Kill they will make plays. So Shanahan's a smart guy. He will try to attack any kind of weakness or anything we got going on. But Vic Fangio, that's my dog. So let's shut this offense down. Let me know how you feel about this Eagles defense going up against this high-powered Kyle Shanahan West Coast offense. And we talked about it earlier, this week with Behind Enemy Lines. I like Kyle Shanahan. He's a very smart guy. But Vic Fangio, if you want anybody as defensive coordinator to go against some of these bright minds, they're always going to tell you they don't want Vic. So I'm confident in this team, and I think we have the talent. We're getting healthy at the right time, so let's go. Let me know how you feel about the Eagles D versus that 49ers offense. Now let's jump in, and, of course, I'm going to start in the trenches again. Up here at number 5, we've got the Eagles offensive line going up against this 49ers D-line and getting Lane Johnson back. I've stressed it for, over a month and a half now, but when he comes back, it's a whole different offense. Your play calling's different. Everything's different. The dude is a stud. And, being able to have that jumbo package with Lane and Fred, just that in itself is huge. But the playbook is going to open up. I think things are going to be way different. This offensive line, it needs to be run blocking, not drop back pass blocking. These guys are banged up. And I love that they got rest. I know a lot of people are upset about that. I don't give a damn about seeding. I want Dickerson, Juergens, and Lane Johnson all to be healthy. So let's hope they stay that way throughout the playoffs. We at least did our part to try to make that happen with that rest last week. Going up against Okwanyananu, and I say it all the time, but when I go to say it and I'm looking at it, son of a Huff and Keon White. We talked about Keon White being banged up, Elliott Davis, Collins, and then they use West as well, interior D lineman, but they've got an okay defensive line. But as I mentioned, they're good against the run, last in the league in sacks. Bryce Huff, I told you that was quite a whiff. I thought he was going to be great, but he went to, a place where Robert Saleh was, and he used him. He did all right, but going up against Lane and Mailata, let's not let this dude come out of nowhere, So Okuyunanu or whatever, let's shut him down too. Keon White, inside, outside, whatever you got to do. Let's hope these linemen are healthy. But it's going to make things much easier for these playmakers. And, Dallas Goedert, how much I love the dude. Really want to get him involved in this game. And he's, having a pretty damn good year, even though certain games people are freaking out. But 591 yards isn't the greatest. It's the 11 touchdowns. And Mr. Reliable in the red zone. Love that. Have that target. And I took Calcaterra out. I didn't think he was practicing, but then he was limited. So we might have him. But I'd much rather have Latu there. Much better at blocking. He can catch the ball too. But Granson, much more of a receiving type. I just don't like Calcaterra always in there in that 12 personnel because guys know he can't block. So, but regardless, let's get Goddard going here. And, Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa, I like both of these kids before their drafts. And I think that, bright future for them. But it's time to do some damn work. And we talk about their struggling safety, what they've given up, yardage-wise. But this is still two talented kids that, can knock your lights out for sure. But Brown's got 6 passes deflected and 2 interceptions. Mustafa's got 3 passes deflected and interceptions. So they can make plays. Got to watch out. But Dallas Goedert, whoever's trying to get you, linebackers, corners, safeties, oh my, don't give a damn. Goddard, touchdown. Let's go. Number 3 here, wide receivers going up against these corners. And Diamador Lenore and Bernardo Green, Upton Stout. Not going to use, a fourth corner too much unless somebody gets banged up. But Brown, Smith, and same here, Dotson, and maybe we use Cooper a little bit. But 3-on-3, I'm saying we should be able to smoke these dudes. And Jalen Hurts, man, we talked about it. One of the worst teams of pressure, last in the league in sacks. Let's protect our guy. And, I think we'll be able to do some magic here. Brown, Smith could both have over 100 yards. But at the same time, if you're one-dimensional, nothing good could come of that. So as much as I want to see those passing yards, one damn thing I'm going to say right here, right now, that's run the damn ball. And Saquon, my man, going to need you to just go ahead and do that this year because the playoffs, I think, last year in the regular season, you went off. And then the playoffs, you kind of had a couple games where in. So maybe this year, you're nice and fresh, ready to rock. Now, you still had over 1,100 yards. Had 7 touchdowns, averaged 4.1 yards per carry, had 273 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in the air. So, look, Saquon still got the talent. This offensive line, as I've talked about all year, while everyone was saying fire Sirianni, bench Hurts, trade everybody, and Kevin Matula, I'm telling you, that offensive line being backed up did not help at all. You need a healthy line. So, let's go. Now, they have an unhealthy core of linebackers, and Kendricks, leader of the pack now. Winner's banged up. Maybe it's Wallow. Maybe Kaiser White is starting, even though we just got there. God only knows, but both these guys can tackle, Kendricks and White, and they know we're going to try to run the ball. So they will try to shut that down. Best of luck. Run that damn thing right down their throats, please, for the love of God. Thank you. But, hey, man, no excuses here not to be able to run that ball, and I would love to see Tank Bigsby get some of those carries. So, we've got a few more games left. Let's keep everybody healthy. I know Shipley's going to get his because he's that third down back, but let's get some carries with Bigsby too, just to not only keep Barkley healthy, but Tank Bigsby can run the effing ball, and he runs it well. And I really like the kid. You know how much I liked him when we traded for him. I was very excited. So I'd like to see him get a little bit of action here, and I think having a two-headed monster like that could really make things tough for this 49ers team and much easier. For number 1 here, QB1, Jalen Hurts. And, as much as they want to slander him, talk about whatever, everybody knows this dude is one of the best quarterbacks in the game. And 3,224 yards on the season, 201 yards passing per game, 25 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, been sacked 32 times all season. And we talk about that line, how he's been able to do good things even with that line, I don't know. But he has 421 rushing yards, and he has 8 rushing touchdowns. So he's still finding ways to use his legs, even though it doesn't seem he is that much this season. But we talked about it. They're decent against the run. I want to be able to run the ball and just be able to open up the playbook, do what we want. Now, I don't want to open it up too much because you still have a few games left after this. So let's run the ball all over them. Let the defense beat the living hell out of these guys. And I think we're having a much easier day. And let's just protect Jalen Hurts, make it easier for him by handing the ball off. And when it is needed, third down or, you just want to air it out on first or second down, he'll make those plays. We'll beat this 49ers team and head on to that divisional round. And we'll talk about what we got to do then. But right now, we got to focus on these 49ers. And I know that's what the Eagles are doing. So let's lock in. But I think we could have a good game from this entire Eagles team. This is one of those complete games I think we need right before we're obviously, a possibility of going on the road, whatever, don't care. We're on the road to victory in these parts. So I think an all-around game would be beautiful. Being able to run the ball, pass the ball, good defensive game, maybe even a little something from the special teams. That'd be nice. To get a complete game, feel confident about the next few games. And I think they already do feel confident. They know who they are, but it would be nice to actually just see it and do it this season because we've all seen the struggles. And, those of you who are still riding with me and the Birds, we're confident that with health and with, getting rid of those stupid penalties, everybody getting on the same page, Kevin Patullo really just, flapping them wings, baby. Open up that playbook. Do things that actually mean something. Don't just have motion and doing all this stuff for the sake of it to appeal to people that don't even know what they're watching. Go out here and run this offense like I know you know how to, dude. And this team, you go out and know what you know how to do. That's execute. Let's go whoop some 49er behind. But let me know how you feel about this game, about those top matchups. Maybe you've got a favorite matchup. Maybe you've already got an MVP in mind for this game. Maybe you have a score prediction. Whatever is on your mind, I would love to hear from you. But that is all I've got for you here tonight. I will be back again tomorrow with that game status report. Hopefully a little Fan Friday for you. Love to talk to you guys live. Got some hilarious stories from yesterday. The funeral and the stuff after was, my family's nuts, man. You want to talk about diehard Eagles? We were all there in our Eagle stuff. Like, when I tell you guys, we bleed green, I mean we freaking bleed green. And I'm telling you, dude, we were all pretty emotionally wrecked. But afterwards, it was pretty awesome to get to spend time together. And you can see the Eagles hat. Well, maybe you can. But you see the Eagles hats and the jerseys. And I know my cousin Chelsea, yes, she has her hat on. Oh, man. What a tough day, but it makes it so much easier with family, and that's what I've always said to you guys. You've always made my struggles easier, and I appreciate all of those who have been there for me throughout this week and years and, all the times. You guys are awesome, and I always say it, but I mean it every show. You ever need anything, reach out. I'm here for you, whatever I can do for you, even if it's just to talk Birds. We can talk about whatever you want, but I love each and every one of you. Hope you're all doing all right out there, but all I've got for you here tonight. Appreciate you guys hitting that like button, sharing, subscribing, becoming members. All the support really means the world. Cannot thank you enough. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all stay safe out there, and as always, say it with me now, sickos. Go Birds!